Stop, before you plant another tomato seedling, you need to hear this. There's a gardening technique that's been quietly passed down through 4 generations of master gardeners, a method so effective that it consistently produces tomatoes the size of softballs, and yet almost nobody knows about it. I'm talking about tomatoes that weigh over 2 pounds each, fruit so massive that one slice covers an entire burger, and the secret? It was discovered by accident in 1924. Today I'm breaking my silence. Section 1, The Forgotten Discovery. Let me take you back to eastern Pennsylvania, 1924. A farmer named Emil Kraft made a mistake that would revolutionize tomato growing forever. He buried his horse manure too deep, mixed it with something unusual, and forgot about an entire bed for 3 weeks. When he finally planted his tomatoes, something extraordinary happened. By mid-July, his neighbors couldn't believe their eyes. Emil's tomatoes were nearly double the size of anything they'd ever seen. It took him 3 more seasons to figure out what he'd accidentally created. He called it the deep fuel method. He never sold a single tomato. Instead, he gave them away along with his secret, but only to people who promised to pass it on. My great-grandmother was one of those people. Here, what has changed since 1924? We've bought into the lie that expensive fertilizers and fancy gadgets are the answer. They're not. Section 2, The Deep Fuel Method. The deep fuel method has 3 critical components. Miss even one and you won't get the results. What shocked Emil wasn't just the size of the tomatoes. It was that plants grown this way needed less watering, less fertilizer, and survived heat waves that killed neighboring plants. Component 1, the thermal layer. 18 inches down, not 12, not 15, exactly 18 inches. At this depth, you're going to create a thermal layer. This is a mixture of aged horse manure and shredded wool fabric from old blankets or clothing. Why wool? It breaks down slowly, holds moisture like nothing else, and creates sustained heat as it decomposes. This keeps your tomato roots in the perfect temperature zone. The ratio: 3 parts aged horse manure to 1 part shredded wool. Pack this layer 4 inches thick. Component 2, the mineral bridge. 6 inches above your thermal layer comes the mineral bridge. Mix crushed oyster shells that you've baked at 400 degrees for 20 minutes. Combine this with biochar that you've soaked in liquid kelp for 48 hours. The ratio: 2 parts crushed oyster shell to 1 part kelp-soaked biochar. The baked oyster shells prevent blossom end rot. The biochar holds nutrients and releases them precisely when the roots need them. This layer should be 2 inches thick. Component 3, the root activator. This goes in the final 6 inches before your planting depth. Combine regular compost with dried stinging nettle that you've fermented in rainwater for 10 to 12 days. 1 gallon of fermented nettle tea mixed into every 5 gallons of compost. Plant your tomato seedling so the root ball sits right at the top of this layer. The result? I didn't just take Emil's word for it. I dug up a plant grown with the deep fuel method versus one grown traditionally. The deep fuel plant has 4 times the surface area to drink up nutrients. The traditional plant, shallow roots. The deep fuel plant, root fingers extending nearly 3 feet down. This isn't magic, this is biology. The watering secret. Here, where most people fail, they water wrong. For the first 3 weeks after planting, you water deeply only once, 2 gallons at planting, then nothing for 21 days. That thermal layer generates moisture through decomposition. Your tomato roots will drive straight down, seeking water. By week 3, you'll have a root system nearly 3 feet deep. After day 21, switch to pulse watering, 1 gallon every 72 hours, like clockwork. Around week 7, add 1 cup of fermented nettle tea to your watering can, just once. This triggers the plant to channel all energy into massive fruit. Section 3, the PRUNING protocol. You need exactly 4 main stems, not 3, not 5, 4. With the root system you've built, your plant can support 4 productive stems. 4 stems create the perfect leaf-to-fruit ratio for maximum size. Prune every sucker except the 3 strongest ones below the first flower cluster. Then, when your first fruits reach golf ball size, remove every single leaf below that fruiting cluster. Those lower leaves just draw energy. Removing them redirects resources straight into fruit development. Within 7 days, you'll see fruit swell faster than at any other stage. Section 4. The final boost. One final element: crushed pink granite. 4 weeks before planting, bury 2 pounds of crushed pink granite at 24 inches deep. Pink granite provides slow-release potash and silica. The silica strengthens tomato skin, preventing cracking as fruit swells to massive sizes. Can't find pink granite? Use azomite or glacial rock dust. Same minerals, same results. Emil tested this in 1928. The granite-treated plants produced tomatoes 41% larger. So there it is, the complete deep fuel method. 18-inch thermal layer, mineral bridge, root activator, pulse watering, 4-stem pruning, mineral supplementation. Emil Kraft's largest tomato using this technique, 3 pounds 7 ounces, documented in 1931. This isn't quick, this isn't easy, but if you want tomatoes that make people stop and stare, tomatoes that neighbors won't believe are real, this is how you do it. Emil never sold a tomato, he never sought recognition. He simply gave away his secret to people who cared enough to listen and pass it forward. I've just done the same for you. The question is, what will you do with it?